See, God is calling you to fulfill your purpose in Him. See, it's easy to get caught up in what your idea or what your purpose was, but God wants you to walk in the purpose that He has given you. He wants you to walk in the identity that He has given you. That's why it's important that you seek Him for clarity in who you're supposed to be. Seek Him for clarity in the purpose that you're supposed to be walking in. And see, sometimes when we're walking in the plans that we had in mind, when we're walking in the ideas that we had planned for us, sometimes it doesn't work. You know why? Because it wasn't intended to work. The thing that was intended to work is when you start to walk in the purpose that God has given you. That's why it's important that you seek Him and spend time with Him, because He is going to let you know who you were called to be. He is going to let you know the plans that He had for you. Because see, God had plans before you were even created. God had plans before you were even born. God had plans before your mom met your dad. He already had plans. But when you start to walk in the plans, God is going to anoint you for it. See, you think you have to have all the pieces to the puzzle to walk in your purpose. You think you have to have the whole blueprint and the whole layout. But all you need to know is that this is what God called me to. This is what God ordained me to do. So I will walk in it because it's of His will. It's of God's will for you to walk in the purpose that He ordained for you. It's of God's will for you to be doing the very thing that He has called you to do. It's of God's will. And it gives Him pleasure when you're working in the gift that He has called you to. That's why you can do the gift effortlessly. That's why there's things that you can do that the next person can't do, because God called you to it. He didn't call them to it. He called you. That's why you have to trust his provision, because not only when you're walking in your purpose and you're being obedient to God, He will anoint you for it. He's going to anoint you for the bad things that come with it. See, God prepares you for His purpose. He prepares you for His good work in you. See, when you are walking in your purpose, you're doing the very thing that God called you to do. And you're allowing God to walk through you. You're allowing God to work through you. You're allowing God to work in you. That's why it's important that you go seek Him so He can tell you who you were created to be, so He can tell you the direction that you were supposed to go in. Because our plans does not matter. It's God's plans. It's God's way. It's His will for our life. But see, you got to start moving out the way and allowing God to work in your life and do the things that He wants to do through you. Because see, when you walk in the purpose that God has called you to, you're allowing God to do what He needs to do in you. You are a vessel for God to use. That's what you are. You are a vessel. He has given you a fleshly body. He has given you a sound to come out your mouth. He has given you ears to hear, eyes to see. But you are ultimately a vessel for God's glory. A vessel for God to use, a vessel for God to work through. You're just a vessel. You're just a vessel. But the more you start to walk into your purpose, the more you start to do the very thing that God called you to do, it's going to make room for you. That's why He said your gifts is going to make room for you. Your gifts are going to bring you in front of great men. Your gifts are going to allow people to know your name. People are speaking of your name and you're not even in the room yet. See, that's what purpose does. That's why it's important that you're aligned with what God is calling you to do. It's important that you're aligned with the direction that He is calling you to. Because there's an idea and you want to follow your will and you want to do the things that you want to do. But it's not about you. It's not about you. It's about what God wants to do through you. That's what it's about. So it's important that you start to walk in your purpose. It's important that you figure out what it is if you don't know it. Because guess what? The moment you start to walk in your purpose, the more boldness you're going to get. The more effective you're going to be, because you're walking in the very thing that God has called you to. You're walking in the very thing that He has anointed you for. But you got to trust God. Trust God. Trust his plans. And sometimes the plans that God has for us is not the plans that we have for ourselves. It's not always the things that we want to do. But you got to trust. Trust his provision. Trust his guidance. Trust him as your father. But walk in your purpose that he has called you to. Walk in it. All right, chosen champs. Y'all have a blessed and positive day. Remember, focus on your purpose. Walk in your purpose. If you want to truly live, you have to walk in your purpose. Y'all have a blessed and amazing day. I'll see you guys next time. Peace.